Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts with breaking news.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news. In the past hour, we have confirmed a Rockbridge High School student has died after his motorcycle crashed with an SUV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Evie Allen. Now, the crash happened at the intersection of West Nifong Boulevard and Bethel Street, which is just a few blocks north of Rockbridge High School. Again, the crash involved two vehicles, one motorcycle and one SUV. The student was riding on the motorcycle, and there is no word yet on any injuries of the driver of the SUV. CBX spokesperson Michelle Baumstark told KOMU 8 News this is tragic and unexpected news for our CPS and Bruin families. Words cannot express how difficult it is to lose one of our students. We extend our heartfelt sympathy to the student's family. Well, students in Jefferson City could see some upgrades. Tonight, the school district will give a presentation for a proposed $85 million bond issue to Jefferson City Council members. KOMU 8's Kobe Zach is in studio with what the bond would include.
The proposed Kids First bond aims to use the $85 million to upgrade several parts of the district and even buy an entirely new early childhood center. And for those of you worried about taxes, Kids First is actually a zero tax rate increase bond, so that means if it's approved, Jefferson City's current tax rate wouldn't move. Now here's a breakdown of that bond. The biggest portion would go to a brand new early childhood center. The new center would double the previous capacity from 150 students to 300 students. The bond would also replace old, outdated smart boards with new interactive touchscreens. In addition, it would fund renovations at Lewis and Clark and Thomas Jefferson middle schools. And outside of the class, the bond would replace old sound and light equipment at the Miller Performing Arts Center. Jefferson City residents will have the opportunity to vote on these improvements in the April 4th election. In the studio, Colby Zach, KOMU 8 News.
Thank you, Kobe. Well, drive-thrus in Columbia could face more regulations after a city council vote tonight. The amendment passed in the Zoning and Planning Commission in September, but the council sent it back in November. Businesses that could have service windows facing the street would have to build a tunnel to block the view of a service window. Additionally, stores would have to include landscaping that blocks the view of car lanes. One resident says the proposed rules could hurt law enforcement investigations.
It's not worth the extra money to screen these windows in commercial areas. You know, protect the residences, but we don't need to protect the parking lots.
The City Council will vote on the issue tonight at their meeting at 7. Now, City Council will also discuss adding more sidewalks in parts of Columbia today. As you can see, the new sidewalks would be on both sides of Bollinger Lane, which is east in Columbia, and would stretch from Clark Lane all the way to Mexico Gravel Road. Now, these new sidewalks would be added to the city's sidewalk master plan as a high priority. The plan aims to add over 40 sidewalks around Columbia. The project on Bollinger Lane would reconstruct several different parts of the road, including adding turns and bicycle lanes, as well as curb and gutter work. The council will vote on this tomorrow. Matt.
It was a very mild day across central Missouri. Our high temperature 72 degrees, right where we were.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Today, healthcare workers across Missouri came to testify about two bills that would affect diversity, equity, and inclusion training. The bills would restrict where that training can happen. KOMU 8's Shay Lawson is at the Capitol and has more about what people had to say about those bills today. Shay.
The room was full of witnesses today to talk about House Bill 1196 and House Bill 489. Doug Ritchie, House Bill 1196's sponsor, says his bill protects the diversity of thought. He says Missouri universities should not require workers to complete a DEI claim in order to be considered for a job. Now, opponents of the bill say all campus workers need a DEI training to complete their job effectively. Ritchie says a research institute based in Texas helped come up with House Bill 1196. Those in opposition were quick to criticize his use of a non-Missouri organization to determine the state's legislation. Nicole Neville, a second-year medical student, says these bills are dangerous.
I have heard too many stories about too many black women having to go into office and combat racial biases in order to get help, and I want to make sure that diversity, equity, and inclusion education is included in medical education so that we can skip that step when patients get there.
The committee will reconvene to talk about House Bill 489. It's called the Do No Harm Act, and it would prohibit Missouri healthcare institutions from using their current DEI policies. We will continue to update you on air and online with that on our website, KOMU.com. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Shay Lawson, KOMU 8 News.
Thank you, Shay. Well, there will be nightly lane closures on the Rocheport Bridge for the next few weeks. MoDOT crews will be pouring concrete across the east end of the bridge. The closures are set for 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily and will last for about a month. MoDOT will also close one lane of Route 5 from Tipton to Versailles to improve the guardrails. Those closures started earlier today. As you can see here, Route 5 will go down to one lane from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Construction is set to end in June. After the guardrail is finished, MoDOT will start paving parts of Route 5.
President Biden addressed hundreds of firefighters today in Washington, D.C. The International Association of Firefighters is holding its legislative conference this week. They were the first major labor union to endorse Biden's 2020 presidential candidacy.
As long as I can remember, you have been with me from the very, very beginning. I promise you, you've had my back and I'll have yours.
This appearance comes following the CPAC conference this weekend, with former President Trump making remarks about his 2024 campaign. A former advisor for Trump says the focus on this election should be eliminating Trump, as it was not in earlier elections.
And I think it's very clear that the mistake candidates made in 2016 was in going after each other instead of going after Trump.
As candidates are announcing their run, President Biden has not formally announced his run for re-election yet in 2024.
Well, one of former President Trump's advisors agreed to pay the U.S. $3 million for failing to disclose foreign bank accounts. Paul Manafort had put tens of thousands of dollars in nearly 24 bank accounts in Cyprus, St. Vincent, and the U.K. Manafort never reported them to the IRS. Trump had pardoned him in late 2020, but last year the Justice Department sued to collect the outstanding penalties with interest. Still to come, more traffic troubles in America's airports. We have details on the latest jumbo jet fender bender.
Plus, how one university is using new ways to help students with mental health.
Plenty of rain chances starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But despite all this, it's not a washout. We'll take you through the timeline coming up.
You're taking a live look over the Columbia Regional Airport there on your Monday. Your time is 5:07. We'll be right back. Here's what's happening right now. Former Vice President Mike Pence has filed a motion asking a judge to block a federal grand jury subpoena for his testimony related to January 6th. Pence's testimony is separate from former President Trump. Two planes clipped wings at Boston's Logan Airport this morning. That collision happened by the gates where passengers boarded for the flights. Airport officials say it happened when one plane was pushing back from the gate. Nobody got hurt, but United Airlines canceled the flights and rebooked passengers on other flights.
Iran's supreme leader says poisoning schoolgirls is an unforgivable crime. More than 1,000 girls have suffered poisoning symptoms since November. The poisonings appear to be a reaction to months of protests after a girl died in mortality police custody. Some politicians blame religious groups opposed to girls' education.
I'm inside Iran. My phone is being monitored. I can't share any more with you.
Doctors are now barred from sharing details about symptoms or test results, even with the girl's parents. The U.S. and others are calling for Iran's authorities to investigate.
South Korea and the U.S. held joint air drills over the Yellow Sea earlier today. That exercise involved at least one U.S. nuclear bomber and several fighter planes. North Korea has threatened to take, quote, unprecedentedly strong action against these exercises.
Still to come, a new partnership aims to help students with their mental health.
52-72 overall, a 20-degree above average day here in mid-Missouri. But we're going to flip the script. Temperatures much cooler the rest of the week. We have the details coming up.
Welcome back. According to Missouri Partners in Prevention, nearly 2 out of 3 college students experience some kind of anxiety. William Woods University is promoting a new way for its students to get some support. KOMU8's Harrison Vapnik is here in the studio with what this new partnership looks like. Harrison.
Emily, William Woods University has partnered up with Christie Campus Health, a national mental health program for colleges to support their students. That support will include a 24/7 clinical support line, virtual and in-person therapy visits, and a new online portal with research-based articles and videos that one administrator says will benefit their students.
If a student is having issues outside the classroom, that's going to impact how well they do inside the classroom and their overall campus experience. So this is another example of here at William Woods of us going in a direction that's going to help boost their overall experience.
Campus Christie Health works with more than 80 colleges across the nation with their goal of removing cultural and financial barriers to students, something that Fugeris says he's excited about in the partnership.
They've assisted something around 700,000 college students in the past couple of years. We're very happy to be in a partnership with a company that has a great reputation, and we think it's going to do great things for our students that have those needs.
William Woods students will begin getting those services when they come back from spring break next week. Reporting in the studio, Harrison Vapnik, KOMU8 News.
Thank you, Harrison. Well, thousands are still stranded and trapped in their own homes following back-to-back winter storms in California. Emergency crews are working to plow through up to 10 feet of snow as many residents run low on supplies. The National Weather Service says some areas could get up to an additional 3 feet of snow through Tuesday. Matt.
Yeah, parts of California getting slammed with winter storm after winter storm, especially in those higher elevations.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Coming up next, find out why a very popular diet is now linked to an increased risk of heart disease. Well, new research shows the keto diet may put a person more at risk for heart disease. The keto diet is focused on low carbs and high fats. Now, scientists found the diet produced higher levels of bad cholesterol and doubled a person's chance of getting heart disease. But researchers stopped short of blaming the diet for the higher risk. TikTok CEO is defending the app's ties to China just weeks before his congressional testimony. He discussed the app's mission and explained how U.S. user data is protected from China. He said China has never asked for U.S. data and any such request would be denied. He also says misinformation and propaganda have no place on TikTok. He says it's bad for business. We'll have one final check of your forecast coming up next.
Tonight, Jefferson City School District will give a presentation for a proposed $85 million bond issue to Jefferson City Council members. KOMU8's Colby Zach is in studio with details on what that money would pay for. Colby.
The proposed Kids First bond aims to use that $85 million to upgrade several parts of the district and even build an entirely new early childhood center. Kids First is a zero tax rate increase bond, meaning current taxes won't change if it's approved. The bond would also replace old, outdated smartboards with new interactive touchscreens and fund renovation in 2 middle schools. Outside of the classroom, it aims to replace old sound and light equipment at Miller Performing Arts Center. In the studio, Colby Zach, KOMU8 News.
Now here's a look we're following for KOMU8 News at 6. The College of Agriculture and Natural Resources at Mizzou is receiving a big gift.
All right, now find out how much and where the money will be going tonight at 6.
Temperatures going to be in the 30s to kick off our Tuesday. We'll get to the low 50s heading into the afternoon. A good mix of some sunshine out there, but also going to see a lot of cloud cover as well. Back to the 40s on Wednesday, Thursday. Rain chances moving in as well. Not looking at a washout at any of that time frame, just some passing showers that are going to be with us. Temperatures in the 40s as well.
Well, today was lovely, so hopefully everybody enjoyed it while it lasted.
Yeah, it's not sticking around, but it's March after all.
That's true.
So we'll enjoy days like this again in May.
Okay.
All the way to May.
Well,
start the countdown
in there as well.
We'll see you at 6.